To the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. My name is Tony Laporta, your host of Road to Indy TV. And this weekend, it is the Mazda Road to Indy Grand Prix presented by Royal Purple, supporting the Lupus Foundation of America. We've got Oliver Askew, Kalen Fredericks on our front row here. We spoke to Oliver yesterday. He dominated and scored the win. Kalen Frederick starting right behind that Soul Red Mazda for the second weekend in a row. It looks a lot like Barber Motorsports Park. What's your plan? Do you have anything for Oliver when we get this thing started?
Yeah, I mean, we made some changes to the car after the race yesterday. We were having some oversteer issues, and I think we have a better car, and I'm just ready to go attack again.
Now, the Mazda Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires with Royal Purple and the Lupus Foundation of America, is doing a lot to get this race underway and support young drivers making their way to IndyCar. What do you have to say about all the great corporate partners that this series enjoys?
I mean, I can just thank them so much for being here to support all of us. It's a really great experience in the MRTI series. Really great competition, obviously, and the racing's really close.
All right, Kalen Frederick rolling off second place today in the second USF 2000 race of the weekend. Youngest driver on the Mazda Road to Indy, only 14 years old. Watch for him as he will challenge yesterday's winner, Oliver Askew. We're getting ready to set the starting grid for race number 2 here in the USF 2000 Championship, powered by Mazda.
On behalf of everyone at Royal Purple Synthetic Motor Oil, drivers, start your Mazda engines!
Green, 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 and we are racing. And this looks like a nice start now. Can they get through turns number 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? One of the drivers, I think McGinnis and the number 80, going to the outside, trying to see if he can get a better run down to turn number 1. There are 3, 4, 5 wide now coming into 1. That curbing on the inside, always tough. One driver up and over, but I think they're able to come through so far. There's contact there. Ricky Donison around. Ricky Donison goes around, and we've got 3 drivers off on the gravel. They'll try to keep those cars running, but there is damage. There's car parts on the racetrack. Again, drivers off. Looks like Darren Keene, potentially, one of the Pelfrey cars. Someone got into the back, I believe, of Ricky Donison as they went over into turn number 2, Jerry. That car just spun around once he was trying to turn into the corner. And again, there's Tom Hansing. Double yellow, full course caution here at the start of USF 2000. We always just cross our fingers that they're going to be able to get through. There's damage to one of the Pelfrey cars. Big front wing damage. Try to pick up the number as they come through. Now lost the feed there on that particular camera. We will be able to reset when they come across, but again, there's your shot of the drivers who are off the racetrack. One of them potentially Devin Wojcik. Again, I believe the white car was Ricky Donison, who started, I believe, on the outside of road number 2, had a great starting position and a good finish yesterday as well. He did have a couple of disqualifications in tech yesterday with an issue. Donison able to continue. Again, not the worst contact for him. Luckily for him, he'll be able to continue and go to the tail of the field.
Now the question is, will he have to come in for any kind of repairs? If you do, well, you're really dead in the water.
Very true. Got to catch up to the back of the field. Your guys aren't going to have much time. That's definitely going to be one of the exclusive Autosport cars as well. The number 97 involved. That's Tomaselli. So I thought it was Devin Wojcik. That was also actually Bruno Tomaselli. As they roll back around here, we're going to get a better look. Yeah, the number 2 of Donison was able to continue. The 27 as well of Kaminsky looks like he was stopped over in turn number 6. So you got to figure maybe residual damage. He came to a stop over in 6. The 97 of Tomaselli, and I believe it's the 92 of Dev Gore. So again, one of the exclusive Autosport drivers. Dev Gore's had a rough go this year. And that happens. You and I talked about it. You qualify in the mid to the back of the pack. That's where the chaos happens.
You know, it's interesting. Now, these are younger drivers, and you kind of want to chastise them for not getting through that first corner up there. There's a race this afternoon that features the top drivers in the world, and they have that same difficulty getting through that first turn up there. Everybody kind of holds their breath as they go charging into turns 1, 2, and 3.
The simple fact is the best time to make up positions is in turn number 1. You make that long break. Some guys are in the inside trying to get to the inside. You're able to go around the outside here.
But wouldn't you like to get through turn 1 first?
Yeah, but again, it happens though. They'll start at the back. They'll get 4 or 5 spots or 6 spots in the opening lap, and they keep doing it every time. There is always an opportunity, but that's a high risk position, a high risk move.
My car is this wide. that hole is that wide, but I just know it'll fit.
And they're not stock cars. Those wheels are wide open. It's open wheel for a reason, and that's the contact that we get. Dev Gore, the number 92 exclusive Autosports entry, the driver out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Last year, the Rotax US Open DD2 champion in the karting ranks.
Another of the rookies, of which there are many in this field. Now, this is going to affect, Rob, you and I went through this yesterday. This really affects the race itself because it is a timed race. We're already 4 minutes into this race. And if you're out front of the field, you're loving this. But if you're setting second, third, fourth, whatever, you're saying, let's get this cleaned up. We got to go racing here.
And that's the key. And again, I'll get on the radio with their drivers, getting people focused, getting them reset once again, because they got themselves in the mindset in that opening couple of laps, getting set, ready to go. They go green, and all of a sudden, now we're on a caution. And that's always tough for the young kids. They've got to get themselves focused because cautions aren't something that they do in go-kart racing. We don't do it in karting. We just run. If anything happens and it's bad, we throw a red flag anyways. There's never a full course caution in national karting. So these guys have to get used to that, where they kind of circulate around here a little bit. They got to reset their minds and get going once again. So the number 22 of Calvin Ming, who was on the podium yesterday, ended up finishing second. He's in pit lane with an issue in the Pabst Racing entry. Ricky Donison comes back around. Again, I'm sure they would have brought him in at least for a look over on the car after the contact. It was rather gearbox or maybe the left rear contact for the driver out of India. Looks like he's back on track. Indeed he is, as is the number 97 of Bruno Tomaselli. They were able to get her refired and out of the gravel trap. So really the only damage total was Colin Kaminsky and Dev Gore. Gore had to go up on the flatbed. Haven't seen Kaminsky come back yet, whether or not the damage was terminal on the number 27.
Kaminsky, by the way, is a high school senior, turns 18 on the 27th in a couple of weeks. So, again, as Rob and I have talked about over the last couple of days, these are youngsters out there trying to learn their way up the ladder. And the field is now down to or up in the north end of the racetrack. So the situation is that we have to keep an eye on the time. The trucks are still out there trying to pick up those cars that were damaged in that incident down in turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. Got the 92 car up in the flatbed. That's Gore's car. And the 27 machine is still out on the race course. That's Kaminsky's car. That's over just at the head of Holman Boulevard. So they've got to get those cleaned away before we can go back to green. And the clock continues to wind down. It's inside 24.
As it shook down, Oliver Askew still with the lead. Rinus VK, the driver out of the Netherlands. Good start to him. They obviously stayed out of trouble early on. He was able to get in front of Frederick. So Kalen Frederick drops to third. Dakota Dickerson to fourth. Robert McGinnis fifth. Colin O'Keefe in sixth spot. Parker Thompson was 10th at the start. Was able to get a good jump there through turns 1 and 2 before the incident. So he ends up in 7th. Again, a DNF for Parker yesterday, an issue with the car. So he's definitely trying to recover here to see if he can't score some points. Corey Enders in the number 11 for DE Force Racing in 8th. He and his teammate Moises de Oliveira 8th and 9th. And Lucas Cole now in the 10th position. That's how they shake out after the field went full course yellow.
Well, the safety crew is out now in the area of the north end of the track, start of the Holman Boulevard. And they are going to try to get that straightened away.
Race control, of course, looking over the video. Scott Elkins, the race director for the USF 2000 program, and looking over the video. Of course, tons of video around the racetrack here, and no penalties being issued for the incident in turn number 1. Just incidental contact, I believe, being told. And, it looked to me like there was contact potentially from behind, but Donison might have got up inside the curbing there in turn number 2 as well. He was pitching down to the bottom of the track. If he got up on the curbing and even a light touch behind him, if he had unsettled the car on the curbing, that would have caused that snap spin.
Well, you referenced going into that turn. Somebody was up on the curbing, so that may have been the whole initiative.
We will go green next time by, so these drivers getting themselves back into focus. Askew in the 3, VK in the 21, Frederick in the 81, Dickerson in the 36, and McGinnis in the number 80. That's your current top 5. Again, a 30-minute race, 22 minutes remaining here, as for the second straight day we've had a bit of trouble here early on.
All right, Rob, now we'll do it single file this time by, so we got a better shot at getting through those first corners.
And most definitely, and Askew very happy with that, keeps everybody behind him. He'll need to get a good jump out to hold off Rinus VK. Rinus in the
Jumbo-sponsored Pabst Racing black number 21. Chandler Horton in the RJB Motorsports Menard-sponsored entry was in pit lane, made a little adjustment, looked at the car, brought him back out, so he kind of slots here into 18th position right behind Ricky Donison.
VK's had a couple of podium finishes. He was second in the second race at St. Pete and finished on the podium in third spot at Barber in that first race down there. So he's been there. He has a feel for what it's like to run up front.
Yeah, very impressive. A guy that had a great karting resume, won a bunch of championships, making the transition here to the Mazda Road to Indy. In fact, he was essentially the first driver who committed to the series when they unveiled the new USF 17 here at the Speedway just over a year ago. He was there. He had his suit on. He was saying, I'm going racing. And he kind of made his announcement there that he was coming to run. And that was a really exciting thing to have Rinus make that early commitment to the program. And again, you know, Jerry, you and I talked about it. If you just scroll down the hometowns of the guys here, actually home countries, it's such an international field. India, Mexico, the Netherlands, South America, we have Brazil, we have Russia, we have Norway, we have Australia. It's just a stacked field. Canada as well.
And you talked about also, Rob, this is a new car this year.
Brand new race car built by Tatis, the Italian chassis manufacturer. For the last 20-something years, we've had the tube-framed Van Diemen. That's been the car that we're in racing. It's been the stalwart US F2000 car and still is running F2000 competition around the country and around the world for that matter. This is a brand new carbon tub car. It's what the young guys want, and it brings that carbon tub, that high level of safety and technology to the entire Mazda Road to Indy.
The field is now coming out of turn number 14, and momentarily you'll see the sight of the main straightaway. The green flag is out.
Yeah, Oliver Askew wasted no time to get back on the loud pedal coming out of 14. He races them down into turn number 1 because he knows if they're able to get the draft on him into 1, there's a potential for a pass. In fact, we got a potential pass further back. Caleb Frederick to the inside.
Good move.
Book it. He'll go to second. Frederick to the inside of Rinus VK, and that's what Askew was worried about, Jerry, was that draft. And if Frederick got a good run on VK, tucked in, went to the inside, and made a really textbook move in turn number 1.
So the guy in second got caught in the draft situation, not the leader.
Indeed, and VK really wanted to hold that back after what was a good start, able to get second away from Frederick, who has finished there on numerous occasions already this year. Kayla, one of the drivers, DQ'd yesterday for a minor technical infraction, finished the tail of the field. So again, he's trying to storm back here just like Parker Thompson is after the DNF he had for an issue. Different circumstances, but nonetheless still trying to get that position.
Pretty good race for second and third right now.
The fight that we just saw coming through, I believe, turn number 8 and 9 was Dakota Dickerson and Robert McGinnis, and Frederick potentially as well. Good battle there inside the top 10, top 5.
The one thing you don't want to do if you're sitting behind Askew is give him any more room. Rob, he was dominant. He won by 5 seconds yesterday.
You know what? That's going to be more of the same today. He's got that confidence. That race car is absolutely perfect. He feels good here now. Local yellow being shown over in turn number 10. We'll get an update on that if we can, but nonetheless, drivers working out here. Good battle just outside the top 5 as well. Askew with the fast lap of the race, not surprising, but Parker Thompson, the number 90, made a move by Colin O'Keefe in that Team Panic number 31. Thompson, who started 10th, Jerry now up into 6th position. Thompson with a bit in his teeth. He won here last year in USF 2000 competition. He and his teammate Anthony Martin raced for Cape Motorsports. They split the victories here. And he's trying to see if he can't grab a little bit of that magic from 2016 to see if he can't recover to the podium here today.
Now, VK and Frederick having a go at it. Somebody got a little bit wide coming out of turn number 2 just a moment ago. Apparently everybody escaped that situation, and Askew right now has a 2.2-second lead.
Big battle coming down the straightaway. Parker Thompson staying to the bottom as, again, I believe a good move there for, I think that might have been Keane going by, or that could have been Lucas Cole and Luke Gavin. Some good racing there. We're trying to pick up the colors of these cars as they work their way up into turn number 7. One driver defending all the way down to the bottom of Hallman Boulevard coming into that left-hand turn 7 combination. 7, 8, 9, a very important part of this racetrack. Drivers running clean here now, though, of course, issues early, but everybody kind of settling into the battle. And Jerry, that's one of the things we talk about this racetrack with these 2 long straightaways and not so much aerodynamic efficiency in these cars, more mechanical grip in these new race cars. There's lots of opportunity for these drivers to pass.
Well, I'm just watching Askew see how the lead shakes out here. As they make the switch, he's picked up about 0.4 of a second. 2.68 is the difference between Askew and the number 2 runner, VK. Then Dickerson is about a second behind that. So Askew doing a repeat of yesterday.
Dakota Dickerson, though, the man on the move right now, as he's been able to get by Robert McGinnis for that 3rd position. In fact, Kalen Frederick falling back into 6th. Dickerson in the 36, McGinnis in the 80, Thompson in the 90, all able to get by Kalen Frederick, who finished on track 2nd yesterday before the technical DQ, but again was 2nd in both races at Barber Motorsports Park. That young 14-year-old has shown very well. And again, Dickerson trying to get himself onto the podium here for the first time this year in that number 36. He runs for Newman Walks Racing, a 2-year deal for Dickerson. USF 2000 this year, his 2nd year in the series, and they will move to the PM18, the Pro Mazda Championship with Dakota next year. That's the progression program for Newman Walks. They had a 3-car effort at Barber Motorsports Park. Flynn Lazier, the son of Buddy, ran with them at Barber as a one-off, just to kind of get a feel for the car ahead of a potential full program in 2018. Andre Castro actually running with them as well, but Andre not able to get the funding together to come here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We hope to see Andre back later in the year, but again, Dickerson running strongly in 3rd position.
And Askew now is up the lead by about 0.3 of a second. It's just under 3 seconds ahead of VK and just under 4 seconds ahead of Dickerson. So the battle right now appears to be between VK, Dickerson, and McGinnis for that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot.
Being told a drive-through penalty right now for one of our drivers on track. Number 79 at David Malukas. He runs in the 15th position, so a drive-through for David. That'll, for all intents and purposes, end his opportunity to run here in the top 15 in his rookie weekend. Good battles on track, though, 2 of them. For 6th position, Kalen Frederick and Colin O'Keefe, and I believe that's the battle we're seeing up the Holman Boulevard here now. Frederick just doesn't have the pace here today. He was very quick, but looks like potentially O'Keefe able to get by in the Team Bennett car. That's them rolling through the apex there. And in fact, Corey Anderson, the number 11, rolling up here with them as well. So we got a pretty good battle here right now, Jerry. That is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Colin O'Keefe, a British Formula 3 driver with some Formula Renault 2.0 experience in Europe as well. The driver out of South Africa, a late addition to the program. Got a phone call, I believe, on Monday and said, get over here. We're going to go racing in Indianapolis. Okay, I'll do it. Team Bennett, a brand new operation. They also have a karting program as well here in the United States. They build their own chassis for the young drivers, the Bennett kart, which has been used by so many young drivers from 8 to 13, 14 years of age.
Checking last time around, Robbie, it was almost the same lead, 2.93 lead for Askew over VK, and then it really gets kind of nasty. Dickerson is 4 seconds, 4.2 back, and McGinnis 4.7, and then 5.7 back to Thompson. So right now, Askew just all by himself, and the race is literally for the runner-up spot.
Interesting to look at the lap times. Let's see what direction they go in, because Askew's dropped off to 126.1. He does have a 3-second advantage, so that could be just him getting into that settling point where he can turn some consistent laps without kind of rolling the dice and driving on the ragged edge. We will give you an update. The number 79 of David Malukas, who was told to do a drive-through penalty, has not yet presented himself, so he will be getting the black flag. So they will stop scoring. David Malukas, black flag being shown here. Not something you want to do in your opening weekend in the program.
That doesn't impress your potential sponsors in the future either.
Never really want to make the race director an enemy. Let's put it that way, because they do essentially hold your race in their hands. And again, a drive-through penalty was given to David Malukas. He has not yet brought it in. Now, you never know. Could be some radio problems as well. They weren't able to signal him to come into the track. So that black flag will definitely let David Malukas know that he needs to work his way into pit lane, and indeed he does. So Malukas coming into pit lane. We'll see if they allow him to do the drive-through, or indeed he will be parked. As I said, it could just be a radio issue for Malukas.
I'm not sure how significant it is, but Askew has lost a little bit of his lead. It's 2.8. It was in the 2.9s a couple seconds ago.
Watching the lap times again, a 126 flat. Both he and VK turning similar lap times. Dickerson just about a 1/10 of a second off. So we'll keep watching here with about 12 minutes remaining in this race. That's probably going to put us right around, I'd say, maybe 8 or 9 laps still to go in this one. 2.8 seconds, Jerry, as you said. The advantage for Oliver Askew as he looks to win his 5th straight race. Robert McGinnis kicked the season off with the victory at St. Petersburg, last year's Rookie of the Year. Appeared like he was going to be a serious championship challenger from the get-go, but Oliver's just kind of grabbed the reins and ran with them.
So he's been on the podium for every race. The only podium he was not on as the winner was the first race at St. Pete when he finished second to Robert McGinnis. So it's just been a super year so far for Oliver.
Not surprising to me that he was going to be good. Did I know he was going to dominate? No. I've been able to watch Oliver through his years in karting. He was at one point the #1 ranked go-kart racer in North America. And so you got to give him props coming in here and really taking advantage of it. Now, everything was kind of, all the ingredients were there for the success. He wins the scholarship shootout at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, $200,000 scholarship working with Mazda. Great opportunity to work with a fantastic company. He goes with the team that have won the last 6 USF 2000 championships. That, of course, adds another great ingredient to the formula. But again, with this brand new race car, it was a level playing field for everybody. But Dominic and Nicholas Cape, they have got a good grip on this car. And obviously, they got a great driver behind the wheel.
In fact, he has increased that lead now to 3.1 seconds difference. And another second and a half back to Dickerson, and 5.3 second lead over McGinnis. So we're talking about an Askew doubleheader hit here over this weekend.
You know who I'll give a really good shout out to as well? Ricky Donaldson. Remember, he was involved in that incident in turn #1, had to start at the very tail of the field. He's already raced his way up to 11th. And of course, Ricky's teammate Oliver Askew, a lot of great data for him to look at. He can measure himself for Oliver in terms of braking points and corner speeds and whatever the turn-in may be, and they're able to coach each other together. And for Donaldson now to work his way up into the 11th position, now just a second behind Lucas Cole, quicker by about 0.3 of a second. You got to expect it's going to be a nice top 10 finish here for Ricky Donaldson, coming off what was a great run yesterday when he was able to finish in the 3rd spot.
Askew's running laps in the 125 bracket, everybody else in the 126 or slower. And the lead at 3.4 to go by that timing line again of the southeast corner of the track.
Parker Thompson at number 90 had been able to work his way up into, I believe, the 5th position at one point, but Colin O'Keefe, Kalen Frederick, and Corey Enders able to get by, as I believe Thompson must have went off track somewhere, a 1:32 lap time last time by. So as I picked up him falling down into the clutch of his teammate Luke Gavin, 8th and 9th, that was a rough lap for Thompson. Something happened. He must have dropped the wheel to lose that much. For all, he was essentially 6 seconds off his race pace.
So the best race on the track right now, time-wise, is at 8th, 9th, and 10th. Thompson, Gavin, and Cole. 13.0 for Thompson, 13.4 for Gavin, and 13.7 for Cole, as those are the times behind the leader, Oliver Askew, who has just said, "I'll see you guys."
Once again, trying to win his 5th straight race. Being told to number 31 having trouble on the back straightaway. That's Colin O'Keefe from 5th position. The Team Bennett driver, our spotters reporting off the pace on the back chute there on Holman Boulevard. What a rough one for Colin O'Keefe, the number 31, as he has dropped all the way down into, I believe, 15th position here. We'll see if he ends up coming into pit lane. And we'll watch that battle with Thompson, Gavin, Cole, and Donaldson. That's a good fight as they come back across the line. Thompson able to get things back up. Donaldson actually by Cole now into the 10th position. Actually 9th now for Ricky Donaldson, because I forgot about the drop for Colin O'Keefe. Thompson goes back to 7th. He's 2 seconds behind Corey Enders, quicker by 0.6 of a second though. How much time left? Just under 8 minutes here now, Jerry Baker, and we have Thompson trying to recover.
Well, the race right now, Rob, to be honest, is trying to get onto the podium, because nobody's going to catch Askew right now. So VK, Dickerson, McGinnis, Frederick is pretty much out of the picture, but so it's VK, Dickerson, and McGinnis battling for that 2nd and 3rd positions out there. Yeah,
the battle here for 3rd, the final position on the podium between the two drivers who actually diced it out for Rookie of the Year last year, Dakota Dickerson and Robert McGinnis. Dickerson ended up finishing just behind McGinnis in the Rookie of the Year points, but right now leads him here for that 3rd position. Both drivers turning 126.37s last time by, virtually identical lap times for the drivers in 3rd and 4th. They are battling for that final position on the podium.
Well, realistically, I guess if you want to take a closer look at it, Rob, VK has pretty well got that number 2 spot sewed up, barring some kind of a major problem. But the battles for third with Dickerson and McGinnis literally identical times.
They are very quick here now. 1:26.3 for Dickerson, 1:26.2 last time for McGinnis, 0.6 of a second the gap, as we're now 6.5 minutes remaining. Ricky Donaldson now trying to close up here on Luke Gabin, but not quick enough. Actually was a 0.5 second slower than Gabin. Thompson continues to whittle it away on Corey Enders, another 10th, but he'll need more than that. He's 1.7 seconds back for Parker Thompson, now into that 7th position, just that one off on track, lost 6 seconds. We're being told we have a driver potentially slowing off the racetrack, 2 drivers potentially together in turn number 1. Can you pick that up, Jerry, over there?
No, I can't get an idea who it's
one of the Pabst racing cars, the 22 potentially of Calvin Ming.
Yeah, it's Ming.
Ming was able to get back on track, but he slows coming through turn number 1. Again, they said local yellow, but that yellow pulled back, corner back to green again as the Ming able to continue. Jason Clooney having a good run here of the exclusive Autosport entry to a driver 48 years of age, having some fun, going to pick some great races to run here in USF 2000. He's run the F2000 Championship Series. He's run a bunch of F1600 races. He was a race winner at Daytona in the Sports Car Challenge and IMSA competition. Good to see him here with us this year for a couple of events. Potentially an issue for the number 31 now as well of O'Keefe. That's over at the exit of turn number 7. They've got the local yellow out there, so he could be off track enough that there won't be any issue, but local yellow for Colin O'Keefe. He was running 14th position indeed on the inside of the racetrack. He's pulled off well inside. With about 5 minutes remaining, I would not be surprised if they're able to just leave the local yellow there now. That is a tough place though, because it's such a great passing opportunity. But if we do full course right now, you got to figure the race is going to be over.
Absolutely.
So I know that Scott Elkins likes to try to keep the race green all the way through to the end if they can. They do have the local yellow, so that will stop any passing in that particular corner until the end of the race.
Well, that's for the safety of the driver. That's simply a situation you don't have any options on.
Again, under 5 minutes. Oliver Askew now leading by 4.4 seconds. No, full course yellow. Full course yellow. Now, will they be able to get the car off and back to green? That 4.4 second advantage, Jerry, disappearing with a couple of flags here at start finish.
Yeah, but now the question, Rob, is can we get this situation cleaned up in 4 minutes and 5 seconds?
Well, again, there's not much of a cleanup, right? They're going to be going,
right.
They'll put the rope back on.
Just tow him out, get him out of the way.
Tow him anywhere. They can just bring him across the racetrack here, to be honest, into a safe spot here just on the exit of turn number 7. In fact, they're just going to push him over there, I think. The car able to roll, obviously a mechanical. So they're bringing him across here right now. So they'll get him over. We'll hope to go green again. Tough one here for Oliver Askew. What's the update?
The word I get is they're not even going to send the pace car out. They're going to turn the field over to Askew and let him be the pace car leader.
I love it. I think we're ready to go. They could probably go back to green right now, but I would expect that they'll bring him around because Oliver, of course, now working his way just down the front straightaway here. The field streaming in behind him. They could go green if they want next time by, if they're able to get a hold of everybody.
And Askew is saying, why me? He's got to be talking to himself a little bit right now.
He's calling for a checkered flag. Hey, what's going on? There's no more time left. I want to see a checker.
Who's watching the clock? Which shows, by the way, 3 minutes remaining right now. 3 minutes.
So we'll see whether or not we go green-white checker here to cap things off. Oliver Askew had that race in hand, a 4.4 second advantage. And to be honest, there's a bunch of drivers in here who had the opportunity to hold a position. Dickerson had a good over 0.5 second from McGinnis for third spot. Enders had 6th place over Thompson, who was closing a bit there for 6th and 7th. Now they stack them all up. All bets are off again as really everything opens wide, as Askew now trying to again have to defend on a restart.
All right, the question now, Rob, is how much leeway will they give Askew as far as when he wants to go green, when he wants to stop on it?
He's shown it every time that he's punching off coming out of turn number 14.
That's what I mean, yeah.
We are going to go green this time by. They're on the radios telling the drivers to form up in single file formation. We will go green this time by. And you can be sure that Askew will keep a pretty good run here as they look to go. 2 minutes remaining in this race, so you got to figure when we go green, we'll be lucky to get another lap. I think it will probably green, white checker here. In fact, could be green checker. We may get a one-lap dash here to cap off this race. Potentially 2. We will see. Oliver Askew will lead him out of 14. He's through 12. 13 and 14, you can be sure he's going to want to roll this thing up quickly. Rinus VK would love the win, though. The opportunity here to make that move into turn number 1 will be very tempting for the young driver out of the Netherlands. Again, Askew quickly on the throttle as he comes out of turn number 14. He masters that.
He got a good run.
Green flag flying for Askew. Let's see again this battle for third as Robert McGinnis going to try to find a way by Dickerson. That's that long run down to turn number 1. They'll go to the very bottom of the racetrack. Dickerson's going to try to make sure that he holds that spot. Here comes to the outside. Dickerson to the inside. It's McGinnis to the outside, side by side, coming through turn number 2. Oh, a little bit of contact there as McGinnis gets into the side. McGinnis gets into Dickerson. There's contact there. That's allowed Frederick to roll through. So Dickerson held the outside, and McGinnis drives into the side of him on the exit of turn number 2. Just pushed the car wide, they locked wheels, and that is going to put both of those drivers outside the top 5.
And at the same time, Mr. Askew says, I'll see you later again.
Yeah, you guys can battle as much as you want behind me, I'm fine. Checkered flag will fly again. This time by, we have, I believe, Tim Isgett, one of our guests from Royal Purple, up in a fantastic place to watch this race. He's up to throw the checkered flag as we are set to cap this one off. Oliver Askew coming through outside of turn number 11. I'm not sure where both Dickerson and McGinnis are going to shake out as they battle it out there through turn number 1 and 2. They're not going to get the positions that they had coming in here. They would have been 3rd and 4th. They're going to fall outside the top 5 as Askew now rolling out of turn 14. I keep saying back-to-back jacks, but I can't give you 5 of them. 5 straight wins for Oliver Askew. Double winner here.
Boy, he has really been impressive.
Absolutely fantastic all weekend long. Askew with the win. VK finishes 2nd. Frederick in 3rd. Parker Thompson's going to benefit from the chaos over in turn number 1. He gets 4th over Corey Enders.
A perfect weekend in Indianapolis.
Unbelievable. I can't thank everybody enough for the opportunity. I'm speechless. Thanks to Mazda for giving me the opportunity to be here. 6 months ago, I didn't think I was going to be racing this season, so huge thanks to them and my team, Cape Motorsports, for giving me such a fantastic race car.
Mother's Day weekend, your mom right behind you, a very special weekend with the Lupus Foundation of America.
Yeah.
Penny, come here. Mother's Day weekend here with your mom. What's it mean to you?
It's really special. Normally, it's not often that she's at the track with me, so I feel very happy to have my whole family here, and to sweep the weekend is really cool for them too.
Good weekend for you on Mother's Day?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
Oliver Askew, congratulations.
And thanks to Royal Purple and the Lupus Foundation of America for supporting this event.
Great job, buddy. Congrats.
Thank you.